What's up? I just have to say this. I'm excited to be doing this shit because we just got into like a mini um no, I wouldn't say argument, but we met back and forth. And
Yeah, nah, it was time to press record, bro. We had to. I felt like we were leaving precious gems that needed to be obviously recorded, but off the air. But we're gonna run it back, of course.
Yes,
but
sir.
I think right now is a great time for baseball, because
Before we do all that, what's up, y'all? I'm Ivan. I'm Stefan. He's Ivan. What's going on? What's going on?
we gonna have to get all this shit out of here, bro.
We didn't even introduce it. I'm Stefan. He's Ivan. What's up? Happy fucking whenever you're watching this. I don't even know the days of the week anymore, bro. That's kind of where my head is, but baseball's in a great place. I love the fact that everybody seems to be on equal footing this year. More than in previous years. You could tell me if I'm tripping, but it feels like everybody that's in it, you can either win the whole thing or miss the playoffs entirely.
The trade deadline, more often than not, is typically when teams know whether they're going to be in it or out. But with the addition of another wild card, it's kind of tough because we talked about this a couple times already, Steph, and like prior to the deadline and even after the fact, that this year's deadline wasn't what it should have been because of the fact that you had teams who were out who still believed that they had a shot. And some of those teams we're going to get into in today's video. But now that a couple of weeks have gone by since the deadline has ended, we're starting to get a clearer picture of what the playoff picture is going to look like. Now, I think there's still a couple of teams that may be in a picture that could easily be out of it. But for the most part, I think in today's video, we're going to go over the teams that at least Stefan and I believe are going to be in it for the long haul.
I'm going to just come out the gate firing and flaming, bro. I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't think the Dodgers win that division. I'm not saying they're going to miss the playoffs or anything crazy like that because that's just crazy. What I will say, though, is when you look at the Padres, them boys ain't playing. They're finding a way to do it every single day.
NL Rookie of the Year between Paul Skeens and Jackson Merrill is going to be like,
that's going to be incredible.
As he gets more experience at the big league level,
yes,
like seeing him throw 12 to 15 Ks per start is going to be regular shit.
And that's crazy because, I mean, you just hope that Pittsburgh put something around him, right? Like the next time we have this conversation next season, that we can say, yo, if the Pirates, if they could continue to play at this level, they could make a run for it. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like we look at the Pirates and we're like, damn, you're missing something.
Right.
You know, there's not enough there. You know, like when you look at this pitching staff is no joke. Between Keller, Skeens, and Jones, like if you could get some offense in there, you could be the next year's Arizona Diamondbacks. Even the Padres, because the Padres are good, but the Padres were scuffling for about the first 3.5 months of the regular season. They didn't they just started getting hot recently after the break, and they made up a ton of ground. So I like the Diamondbacks, is because we just seen them do it last year.
They're giving me deja vu.
Yeah, and
because the same way how they weren't all that last season after the first half is the same thing I think they have been this year
now. Yeah,
and then now with the second half, and they look like a completely different team. I have the standings. I'm looking at it right now as I speak, right? And let's see. No, that's the wild card. My apologies.
What's the separation between the?
So right now the Dodgers have a 2.5 game lead above the Padres and a 3.5 game lead above the Diamondbacks.
That's a bad week.
Either team could dethrone them. You got the Padres on a 7-game winning streak. They're red hot.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I'm gonna give them a shot. But the Giants are only 8 games back themselves. Dodgers are in a very, very tough position, I would say.
Listen, I said this to you going into the season. We fought about this.
I don't know. Something in me. Now, look, I'm gonna be honest. If they don't win it, would it surprise me? No, it wouldn't surprise me. But at the same time, I just think they are capable of holding on, whether it be by half a game or two.
I got you. You can win the NL West. We've seen them do this. The thing about the Dodgers is you see what Arizona did when they walked up in there as a wild card and said, oh, you got home field advantage? Don't care. Don't matter. We blowing you out your building. Y'all old. Get the fuck up out of here. Like, that's what I see with the Dodgers. I look at the Dodgers and I'm like, yeah, you just guys are just old. You're old. Like, yeah, Jack Flaherty's a nice piece, but Jack Flaherty never pitched big in the playoffs.
Nope.
Clayton Kershaw, how many innings are you really gonna get before it's like Father Time gonna come and be like, hey, yo, dude, come on, bro, pack that shit up. Know
they've also had some bad luck though.
Yeah,
Freeman was out for 2 weeks. He just came back. Mookie Betts been out for quite some time. Those are two of their biggest bats. Like, I know we talk a lot about Ohtani, Teoscar Hernandez, and those guys. But when you don't have a Freeman and you don't have a Mookie Betts, I mean, that's hard.
My problem is, I hear you on the offensive tip. They don't have enough pitching to get through. The pitching is what's going to stop them from doing anything significant, right? That's why, to me, the Diamondbacks are dangerous. Merrill Kelly, you get Jordan Montgomery's going to pitch for them well at some point. This guy just pitches well in big spots. He's you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like Arizona's just got something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The same thing with the Padres. Like, the Padres, you're walking in, you got to deal with, first of all, that lineup seems to have found its second, third, or fourth wind with Manny and...
It's a problem.
Jackson Merrill.
Yes.
And that whole lineup is just, I don't know what they on, but...
Right.
I see you. And then the thing about the Padres is the reason why I have the Padres better than the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Dodgers in the postseason is because, the game's over in like the 6th inning, dog, between Jeremiah Estrada, Robert Suarez, and then you got Tanner Scott you just picked up from Miami.
Yeah.
You got a 3-headed monster, man. These guys are all coming to the bullpen throwing high-octane stuff.
You know what's crazy? And when you look at who the Padres had on the team over the past couple of years, there were some big names. Yeah. Talking about some of the best players in the game. I mean, we know who they are. I'm not going to name them. But I say that because, I don't know if I might be wrong. They could prove me wrong, but there's still some time left. Mm-hmm. But there's a possibility that the Padres, now more than ever, especially over the past few seasons, may have put themselves in the best position. And this is after Blake Snell, after Juan Soto, after Josh Hader.
Right. So
you heard the names?
Here's what I'm going to tell you. This is a better team than those teams. Because it's more well-rounded. When you got stars, what do stars bring? Expectations. Mm-hmm. Right?
Expectation, ego.
Everybody's looking for the stars to be stars. Right? But, like... sometimes you need a guy like a Joe Musgrove. You need a guy that you don't even get like a Luis Ariz that ain't gonna hit 50 home runs a season. That's just gonna give you 345 consistently.
Yeah.
By the way, he's
just gonna poke the stick out there.
By the way, he's playing with 2 torn ligaments in his thumb right now.
That's tough.
The guy, he don't care. I'm getting 2 knocks. We're gonna go about the day the way it's supposed to be done, and that's that.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you look at a guy like him, and you like. That's a difference maker for them. Fernando hasn't even played in a while. Like when he finally gets back and he finds his rhythm. Because I'm going to tell you something right now. I think with the Padres, I think the one thing that I ask myself is what does the leadership look like in that room? Right? Like who is the guy in the clubhouse?
I was just going to ask that. Who is the leader?
That says, follow me and we're going to go through this way. Right? I don't necessarily believe it's a player. I believe when you look at a guy like Mike Schultz, who was the manager of the year in St. Louis a couple years ago with Yachty and Guino, and you have veteran guys, but he just brings like this calming presence. Like, all right, fellas, we get hot, we're gonna do some work. It's gonna be tough to get us out of here. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like they took that message to heart.
So let me ask you this, because I know a couple minutes ago you said that you have the Dodgers not winning the West, which means if they get in to make the playoffs, it'll be via the wild card.
Wild card, yeah.
So, I mean, at that point, it really comes down to just 2 teams, right? The Padres and the Diamondbacks, who we just spoke about. Now, who's your pick to win that division?
I would say I'm gonna go Arizona, because Arizona, you can't teach experience, man. You can't teach when it comes down to it. You got the Dodgers looking really vulnerable. San Diego's good, but a lot of these kids, young cats like the Tanner Scotts, the Suarez's, the all these guys at the back end of their bullpen, they ain't been here. We've been here. And that's not to mention, we're going to get Christian Walker back at some point, right? And Josh Bell has went out to Arizona and found the fountain of youth. He's went out there and just started hitting the cover off the baseball.
Right.
So it's like, you look at a guy like Josh Bell, you look at all the guys that they're bringing in there, and you're like, y'all can do something. I like them to win the division, but I like San Diego to make the deeper run. It's because I look at San Diego's bullpen, and what do we cry about? What have we been crying about here in New York for like the last year? Yo, we need guys out the pen with swing and miss. You got a lot of swing and miss in San Diego.
Right, that's what they have.
That's all you got out there is swing and miss.
Right.
Right? And so at some point, when shit gets hairy, know what I mean? And you in Game 4 of a tie series, or you up 2-1 and you trying to put a stranglehold, and it's like the 7th, 8th inning and you got a 2-run lead, you got motherfuckers coming out of there throwing nothing but straight octane.
Right. They're what I would call well equipped, like for the moment. When it does arise.
You know who they are? Their bullpen is very 2015 Kansas City Royals-esque.
I remember
Wade Davis.
Yeah, Kelvin Herrera.
and Greg Holland.
Yes, Greg Holland. Yeah, those dudes were nasty, dude. Like when you saw the three of them stretching, warming up, and doing this and that, you lost.
It was over, right? And mind you, they had some ball players in KC.
They did.
Hosmer, you had Lorenzo Cain, Alex Gordon.
Yes.
You had some players. You had Mike Moustakas.
Right. A young Salvador Perez.
Salvi, Elmar Infante was the second baseman.
Right.
So you look at the Padres and you're like, yeah, you got some 2015 Kansas City Royals to you, man. The bullpen is solid. You know what I mean? You got a guy like Jake Cronenworth who could get a couple knocks a night. This guy, Arise is gonna get 3-4 knocks easy, just as what he does, and then you turn around and you're like, they ain't as powerful, but in the playoffs, for me, it's all about making contact.
Right.
If I can make a pitcher work 3, 4, 5, 6 pitches in that bat, and then I could shoot one in the gap, ain't nothing better than that.
Yeah. I'm glad we started off this with the National League West. And this is not to throw shade at any of the other divisions, but I think the National League West is indeed going to come down to the wire, right? And I say that because when you look at the East and you look at the Central, you got the Phillies up 7.5 right now. You got the Brewers up in the Central, 8 games. And, 8 games, listen, all it takes for that first place team to have a bad week, the second place team has a great week, and now they're going back and forth. So I don't want to say those divisions are a lock, but I think we could say the Phillies are gonna win the East, the Brewers are gonna win the Central. Mm-hmm. Obviously you got other teams in those divisions that are trying to find their way in. You got the Braves, the Cardinals, the Mets.
If Atlanta was healthy,
oh yeah.
If Atlanta was healthy, I'm going to say something right now. I think this would be like a 3.5 game bleed, and I think Philly's sweating his palms off a little bit because
I agree.
Philly's been bad for like a month now.
I think the roles would definitely be reversed.
You know what I'm saying? And like the problem is with Philadelphia is a lot of swing and miss in that lineup. They hit a lot of home runs, but they strike out a lot too. But Schwarber and Castellanos and even Harper's strikeout rate is up this year a little bit. Like he's striking out a lot more. So there's a lot of swing and miss in that lineup. Like Kyle Schwarber, he's gonna hit 40 home runs, but he's gonna hit like 190.
He's been better this year though, but I know what you mean. Like he's known for doing that.
All right, but in the playoffs, when you get nasty pitching, you might deposit a few balls to friggin' Oshkosh, Wisconsin, but you're gonna get them out a lot of times too, because you're gonna be able to. You know what I mean? Now it comes down to Philly's gonna win that division by default because Atlanta's just too injured to make a run for it. The Mets are kind of iffy. I don't like the Mets bullpen. I still don't like the Mets rotation. Like, the Kodai Senga injury for the Mets is what kills any chance of them making any significant run at.
Yeah, I think that was a big blow. By the way, we made a video earlier this year about the Kodai Senga injury. So if you haven't seen that, go check it out.
Right now.
But the fact that we did that when he was hurt then, and he came back, made a start. He's out again,
and
for the year at that.
You remember what I said? I said, I don't think he pitches this year.
You did say that.
I said that
at that true.
point. I said, I don't think he pitches this year, because now you're talking about trying to compensate for when your shoulder hurts, and now you're trying to get other body parts to do other things to try to ease the pain off the shoulder, and then
you're trying to quickly get back into the groove of things,
right,
which isn't necessarily the best thing to do.
Right. So I think for me, the Mets should worry about just 2025 and see where you're at the end of this. Like, don't even worry about trying to make the playoff. If you happen to get hot towards the end, cool. I think that's a fool's errand, right? Like, you get in, you're going to face somebody like San Diego or the Dodgers, and it's going to be smoke show time. Like, yeah, you out of here, dog. Like, right.
It's funny you mentioned the San Diego, because I think a couple of years ago when the Mets won, like, what was it, like 100 games, 101 games? Yeah, they lost to the Padres.
Yeah, San Diego. Josh Bell hit one the freaking over the apple that's still going.
Right.
Joe Musgrove had the olive oil on his ears. You know what I mean?
Olive oil is crazy.
Yo, his shit's looking shiny, bro.
Yeah, no. But listen, he was dealing. No, I remember that series. He pitched his ass off.
Yeah, man. So I think for me, the Phillies win the East relatively easy, just because I don't think there's anybody in that division that makes it hard enough for them. And I feel the same way in the Central. Like, listen, the Cubs are done.
I think so. I agree.
I don't think the Cubs make a run for it. St. Louis is too up and down, man. They have a good week and then they have a bad week, and then you have a good week and then you have a bad week. Like, at some point, you gotta establish some consistency. That being said, Milwaukee's gonna win the division, but they going home early themselves, because I look at them and I'm like, yeah, good, but that lineup ain't. You gotta do something with that lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at some point, you got to get some hitters in that lineup. Yelich ain't never going to be the same again. Like, you got to take advantage of this window you have, however long it lasts, of you being the team in the Central that is going to make a run for it.
This is after they told people in the offseason that they were just simply ready to move on.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. I remember.
It's crazy.
Listen, credit to them. Credit to everybody in Milwaukee.
Yeah, for even being able to get to this point after the team was on the verge of just getting rid of damn near
manager
everyone.
Matt Murphy's done Pat Murphy's done an incredible job taking over for Craig Counsell, just believing in his boys, getting them to, do this. It's just incredible what they're doing. And listen, Jackson Chourio, he's starting to find his. When they said look towards the North Star and you'll find the compass, I think he's starting to get the direction. Like, all right, this is where I'm supposed to go.
And I know the Brewers are happy for that. I think the Brewers have made it clear, especially with the extension that they gave him so early in his career, that, yo, you're our guy, Now, it's just a matter of when you could start to get it going for us.
And mind you, a lot of people saying this is a down year, and this dude's on the verge of averaging a 2020 season. You're hitching your wagon to Jackson Chourio. That's the guy you're hitching your wagon to, right? So if you're going to do that, then you already know, like, all right, we got the centerpiece moving forward.
By the way, he's only 20 years old, just to remind you guys. So he's going to be around for a long time.
And here's the thing I'm going to tell you, right? This is him being 2020 guy with just raw ability. I don't even think he grasps how to be a big leaguer quite yet.
Right. I mean, as has he even gotten into like his grown man body yet? Maybe not.
No, so that's why when we look at 2020, we're like, yo, this is about to be 2020, 20 years old. We ain't even hit the cockamamie.
I hear that sometimes, man, and that makes me feel so old. I don't know how you feel about that. But yo, honestly, I remember being younger, and you'll hear older dudes talk about younger players such as the one we just spoke about. and they'll be like, yo, this kid is this good, this kid. I'm like, yo, these ain't kids, they grown ass men. But now that I'm a little older than these guys, I'm like, yo, I see why they call them kids.
You see why you call them kids? Like, yo, think about this, bro. We used to talk about this all the time. This dude is in the big leagues doing his thing. Imagine me and you at 20 years old in the big leagues trying to fucking find our way. Nigga, yo, they'd have had to come get me from the hotel bar.
Yeah.
You know the amount of y'all means I'd have had it. 20?
Right.
What?
But yo, you're not wrong for saying that, because we've seen that, turn out for some players. Like, I think a good example in football would be Johnny Manziel. Like, he just couldn't stop living that lifestyle.
Yeah, that's because Johnny was rich before he got to the NFL, right? So there was no discipline there. Like, you see what a guy like Jackson Churio coming from. I think he came from like Venezuela. Like, you're coming from impoverished circumstances, so there's a level of discipline that comes along with, I gotta make it for the family. You know what I mean?
Right. You know what it feels like to not have anything.
Yeah. So when you the guy and everybody's looking at you like, oh, yo, what you about to do? You know what I mean? You have to come with a certain level of like focus, because if you don't make it, shit, then what does it mean? The Brewers gave you all this money, they invested this capital in you, this time in you, you their guy. So if you don't make it, then that sets the organization back. And it goes back to the Wander Franco point of like, yo, it's a gamble when you give these guys this money, but you got to make sure you're giving it to the right-minded dude.
Right, and that's the tricky part.
Right.
Yeah.
That can handle it.
Because let's be honest, more often than not, these guys are getting paid because of the numbers that they're able to put up. Mm-hmm. But, I think another thing that matters is like, yo, do you genuinely know this player? Like, what is his day-to-day like? Is this an investment that is going to benefit you, not just now, but for as long as you would like for it to benefit you for?
See, but this is what I'm going to tell you this, right? Like, I always look at teams, like, for example, let's just take somebody we just finished talking about. The Padres. AJ Preller did the thing where he just built MLB 24, the show. It's a video game. He built it. He said, all right, we're going to put all these guys on the team, and we're going to put them together, and we're going to see what's what. What I'm realizing is, when you put a team together, notice the key word is team. And when you build those super teams with all these guys that got names, that comes with egos. Sometimes it's a little easier if you just built a team where you got a bunch of... Jake Cronenworth is a ball player.
Right.
Luis Ariz is a ball player. You look at a guy like Jackson Merrill. Talented out the wazoo, but he's a ball player, can do everything on the field, has all the capabilities. If you need him to do something, he's gonna do it. Even Manny, in his advanced stage, he still gets down at third base. He'll make a play here and there. He's gonna drive in 100 runs. He's a ball player, right? Where you start realizing like, yo, what's the difference between those Padre teams of a couple years ago and right now? Now you got a collection of ball players that fill a role. Like, all right, I know what my role is. Hassan Kim, every day I'm at shortstop. This is my role. This is what I'm here to do. Fernando, when I get back, I'm in right field. Every day. That's my role. Right? So when you have roles defined and roles assigned and everybody knows, yo, this is my role. When I come
that matters, yeah.
Yeah, when I come into the clubhouse every single day, I know what my role is. Like, even with the Phillies, everybody knows what their role is. Bryce is at first. Schwarber's the DH. Castellanos is in right. Trey Turner's my shortstop. Every day, through thick and thin, we riding with you, dog.
Yeah.
Alec Boehm every day, getting reps at third. Like,
for the better part of the season, the Phillies, and I know, we talked about them. They've been slumping since the break, but I think the Phillies, for the most part, have all been on the same page with like, yo, we're here for the long haul. We ain't just trying to make it to the second round. Like, we're legit trying to make it to the World Series again. And we even heard it from Bryce Harper himself.
Right. And here's the thing I'm going to ask. Like, Philly feels a bunch of pressure, though, dog, because if you don't make it now, the clock is only going to continue to go like this. And you're going to get older. You're going to get, you know what I mean? Like,
you're right.
Further and further away.
Like, how many more solid years do you think you're going to get out of a guy like Real Muto? Because catchers don't really have longevity nowadays.
The thing about
very rare. Like what Salvador Perez is doing, You don't see that too often in catchers anymore.
Yachty, same thing.
Yeah, you don't see that.
Yachty was a freak to be able to catch for damn near 20 years, and the St. Louis Heat, he was different, right? But I think the thing about JT is these catchers now, man, they take better care of their bodies, right? Like, you see them on the field, you see them like in the offseason. He says, like, I know they go through different stretch routines. I know with the Yankees have different people that put them through routines. Like, yo, to put yourself in this position, man, try to catch up for one leg. Don't put full grunt on both legs. They have this philosophy where they want you catching on one leg.
Yeah.
So your knees don't bear the brunt of being on both knees. You're in a double crouch. Like, back in the day, you remember how catchers used to squat like old men.
Right. But the good thing about the way people, I think most teams use catchers nowadays, like, it's okay to give a catcher a day off, right?
Now they need it. Now they need it more than ever.
To.
You got to do it because, listen, catchers take a beating between the foul tips.
Nowadays getting foul tips, 100 plus miles per hour, back to the face mask. Fucking 103 hitting your finger and shit. That hurts, bro.
Off the thumb.
Yo, that hurts. I can imagine. Like, the speed alone sounds ridiculous, right? Now imagine the speed, just some slight contact. Oh my gosh, forget about it.
Listen, you hit the side of the baseball, you foul that shit back, you hit somebody right in the shoulder. That's why I say, yo, catchers, they're like crash test dummies. You hit somebody in the shoulder, the shit goes off the tip of the shoulder. You see them in like the crouch position for like 2 minutes. Like, damn. Dog.
Yeah, I don't blame them. When I see a catcher get hit by something that looked bad, or even an umpire, right? Them being older guys, you know, a lot of these guys in their 50s and 60s. I'm just like, yo, if they need a 20-minute break, give it to them.
Give it to them, dog. Because listen, you're talking about these guys, they throw harder, they throw faster. These guys are a lot stronger. And so when it comes down to it, I like the Phillies because I like them at the catching position. The thing that scares me about the Diamondbacks, I'm going to be honest with you, Gabby Moreno, their catcher, he's already had quite a bit of injuries. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's dealing with a quad right now. I think he pulled his groin, matter of fact. So he's dealing with something right now, the Diamondbacks catcher. Like, catchers are very vital, especially in the playoffs, because you got to know, listen, we got to get this line about this way. We got to go about it in a certain type of way. And so, I feel like catchers are so paramount now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a very important position.
Right. And it's a different ball game in the playoffs. It's day to day. Like, what you did today may not look like in your second game. You understand what I'm saying? Whereas in the regular season, you could put one lineup together, throw it out there for a few days and just be like, we'll see what it does. Yeah. You can't do that. You go down 0-1 in a playoff series, your game 2 lineup cannot look like your game 1 lineup now.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. Here's what me and you are going to disagree, but I think you're going to get my point. I think that's what's wrong with postseason baseball.
Really?
Managers are not allowed to experiment because they tell them, yo, if this is the lineup that got you here, analytics say don't move this player from this position. Where I wish managers had more of a leeway to say, yo, I'm going to start this player, even though I know his numbers say otherwise. I just got a hunch he's going to be great tonight, right? Like, I wish baseball in the postseason was a lot more, instead of going game to game, to me, playoff baseball is like inning to inning. You can't worry about game 3 when you're in the middle of game 2 and you're trying to find a way to survive, especially in the first round because it's only 5 games, right? So the team that does the best job of surviving those early games and going game, not even game to game, but inning to inning and situation to situation, is going to be the team that wins in the playoffs because they're in the moment, right?
So let me ask you this question. It sounds like, are you against when teams make a decision for a game that hasn't even been played yet? Are you against that?
Yes.
Okay. Got you.
Because here's what I'm going to tell you, right? So, not to make this a Yankee show, but I just want to make a quick Yankee point. The Yankee game was yesterday. Garrett Cole is cruising in the 6th.
Yes.
Gets a pop-up. LeMahieu catches it. 1 dead. You got a 1-run lead. You know the offense is going to score a couple more runs because they've been doing this. Booney comes and pulls him and says after the game, oh, it was planned to go get him. Huh? He's your ace.
Right.
You got your ace on the mound.
Yeah.
And you telling him, oh, but it was my plan to go get. Excuse me? But you just let Carlos Rodon throw 112 pitches the game before? That was the same day?
Right.
Where was the plan there?
And they wasted Garrett Cole's start yesterday too, I believe.
And
right?
this is what I'm saying. So when you tell me, yo, in the playoffs, we're going to find this lane for this pitch. What the fuck is that?
Right.
We driving or we pitching?
By the way, everybody, I haven't said it yet. Make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram as well. But we're starting to get the feel where, like, as I mentioned earlier in this video, the picture is starting to become a lot more clearer.
I'm telling you, man.
Things are starting to make sense. So make sure you guys are here not only August, September, but in October as well. Like, the content is not going to stop.
Oh, the content's not stopping. We might even ratchet it up. Also, by the way, guys, if you see me and this guy out at Yankee Stadium during the playoffs, we're gonna make a couple games at the end of the regular season. So if you ever at the stadium and you just want to pop by and say hi, man,
say what's up.
Yo, come see us, man. We're gonna be posting on the IG. We'll send you the sections.
Yeah.
Come pull up. You know what I mean? We'll take a picture, all that good shit. So, listen, man, because here's the thing. This is where the fun starts now. We got 50 games left. Less than 50 games left. Now, it's put up a shut up time. So now, I want to see who's gonna, like, you know what I'm looking for? I'm looking for that one team that we didn't really talk about all year to come out of nowhere and be like, all right, we hit it.
It's coming.
Because you know what it happens every year.
Yes.
There's one team that you didn't even see and you like, bro, where y'all? Yeah, you?
Right.
You came out of nowhere. I wonder who that team is. Because right now, I feel like the National League is pretty much set. And we say that and watch somebody that we didn't expect to come out of nowhere and be like, oh, this is what you thought was going to happen.
That's what I was saying, bro. All it takes is for a team that has been holding on to first place for a majority of the year. You fuck around, have a bad week. A team in second or third place goes on this crazy streak for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. And now that lead you had don't look as good as it once did.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, for me, you know what I think is going to come? I'm going to be honest. I think it's going to come in the West because I don't think listen, can Atlanta get hot for a week and turn this thing into a race? Sure. They could get hot for a week. They've been there. That's another thing. Like, I understand they're injured. They got all this. They got everything going on. But you give them life and you continue to tell them, yo, you know this is reachable, right? We get hot for a month stretch. If these Phillies don't put it away, we might be able to come back and snatch this bitch. Like, oh, you thought it was yours? All right.
Right.
Because remember, I'll tell you this. Remember, in 2007, the Mets had a 7-game lead with 17 games to play and lost the lead in 2007.
Shit, I got a 7-game lead in September. I'm holding on to that shit with everything that I have. Yeah, bro. Yeah, because how do you blow that in September? I mean, we've seen it. That's why we're able to talk about it.
Yo, you start blowing leads and it gets in your head and you're like, damn, wow, the hell we gonna, like, you know what I'm saying? That's why I want to see what the Dodgers look like. What do you look like when it's put up a shut up time? Is Yamamoto gonna be on the mound? Is Jack Flaherty going to be the guy you go to?
That's another thing for the Dodgers too, right? Like, not only are you on the verge of possibly losing the division, especially the lead that you have right now, which isn't much of a lead, by the way.
Yeah.
But are all of you guys going to be ready for that final week or two stretch come September?
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be huge to see.
You might be playing for something because the division might not be sewn up where you don't want to get into a wild card round, because if you get into a wild card round, you might get steamrolled by somebody, bro.
Yeah.
And for all,
because I'll be honest, winning a wild card, I know for a team like the Dodgers, should not be happening. I mean, they should be winning the division damn near every single year. Now you go up against a team where winning the wild card is a big deal. Oh, forget about it. That's the motivation they need to take the Dodgers out. Yeah,
you might get smoked out of here, bro. I'm telling you. Listen, you fuck around and see somebody, and I'm not saying this is gonna happen, but you fuck around, you let this Cardinal team in with all that experience with Nolan, Goldschmidt, the pitches they got, the bike list, you know what I mean? You let a team like St. Louis in there that says, all right, fuck it. Y'all supposed to win the World Series? Fuck it. We're gonna come up in here and we're gonna blow y'all out. That's danger zone time. And then if you're the Dodgers, you're looking back like, we spent how much money on 3 free agents and we did what? That's why baseball is like a stew. Mm-hmm. You can't, but this team sucks and this team is this and this team is that. Listen, the Dodgers may hold on to the division lead, but when I kept saying early in the season, yo, I'm worried about them in the playoffs because I don't see the pitching that's going to get them through. I'm kind of wondering, yo, who's going to be that team in the National League? Is it St. Louis? I don't think it's the Mets because something about the Mets bullpen late game situations, they leave a lot to be desired. I'm gonna be honest.
One thing I want to let everybody know who's watching this video, let us know in the comment section down below, like, who you guys rocking with? It Dodgers, Padres, Diamondbacks, Braves, Phillies, Brewers.
Who y'all got? And I'm gonna tell you something right now. You know who the secret weapon for the Brewers might be in the playoffs? One Devin Williams, because he ain't pitch all year. Mm-hmm. If he comes out healthy in the second half going into October, late game situation when he got the lead and he comes out of the bullpen throwing that Bugs Bunny changeup he got. By the way, if you haven't seen that Devin Williams short, go watch that right now.
Oh yeah, we did put one of those out. Yeah, it's on the channel.
Listen, this National League is gonna be fun. You know what's crazy? You said the Giants are only 8 out. That takes a
for the
good
division,
week.
yeah.
That takes a good week.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Because right now, for example, like we talked about the Pirates in this video. What I told you this, before we started recording, Stefan. But for me, I think this losing streak that they've been on over the past week or so has ruined their chance. So
it killed them. Yeah. I feel the same way about the Mets. The Mets needed to go 7-3, 8-2 on the strip.
Yeah. But at the same time, I think Major League Baseball did kind of like F the Mets over because they're going from here, they're going from there. Like they got them going all over the damn place.
You saw the trip they just went on, bro?
Yeah.
They started somewhere out west. I forgot where. Then you got to go to St. Louis. Then you got to go after St. Louis, you go to Colorado. Then you go to Seattle.
Right.
And it's like, damn. Yeah. You know what I mean? And next week, I believe they're going on another trip. They go to San Diego. They go on another West Coast trip, I think. Oh, they started in Anaheim this trip. Anaheim, St. Louis, Colorado, Seattle in one trip. And you going to St. Louis for one game.
Yeah, I think that's a makeup game. You're right. I did hear about that. That's crazy. You see, that's what I mean by Major League Baseball kind of like screwing them over. Because the other games they already had set in stone. But now you throw in a makeup game in the middle of all of that. So now you got to make a stop that you didn't have to make originally.
And mind you, there's no off days now. This is a 10-day trip with 10 games and no off days.
Yo, so shout out to everyone who has made it to the end of this video. But before we wrap this up, Stefan and I have a few words to share with you guys.
Thank you, man. We made it to 100 subs. I didn't think we were going to be here this fast. I'm kind of like blown away by the love and the support and
in just a few months.
When we first started this channel, I'm gonna keep it brief. This shit was like yo, what if we decided to do this? And to know that 100 people are rocking with the channel like that shit is big time. We're serious about this. We love baseball, but most importantly, I'm gonna be honest with you. If you messing with us since day one and you watched any of our videos and you say, you know what, I like these two dudes, thank you. We appreciate you. But just know, this 100 ain't got nothing on what we about to do for the rest of this season. Because, listen, if you think you saw a lot in 2024, 2024 is not over. We still got a month left of the regular season. We got something special planned for y'all in a couple weeks, so stay tuned.
We have a lot in the vault for sure.
You know what I'm saying? And then, so when the playoffs come, you guys are gonna be really, really, really interested in what we got going on, because here's what's gonna happen, guys. When the playoffs come, that means we're gonna get in depth with this. Like, you're gonna see me and this guy a lot more than you're seeing us now. All right, so just know that this was a brief thank you. We appreciate it, but we still got a lot more work to do, and the fun's just getting started.
Shout out to you guys, man. To be able to get to 100 subs, and as Stefan was just talking about, within just a few months of starting something that we genuinely enjoy is really good, and it's fun doing this. Never do we get on here and we're like, we're not feeling it, not today. Like, we come here and it's because we want to do it. We look forward to it, and we're glad that we're able to enjoy this with all of you. So shout out to you guys.
All right, man. We gonna let y'all go and have a great rest of the week, and we'll see y'all soon.